Countdown work?
Oh, hey, we have a countdown. I forgot how this works. Levels.
Levels.
I'm sorry, pal.
No problem. Come on over here, Ron. Let me show you what I'm doing. Taking advantage of some of the time off to add a whole new wing on here. I'm going to rip these walls out and, of course, rewire it.
Yeah, you're going to make it all 220?
Yeah, 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Well, you sound like a pretty handy guy.
Hi, toddlers. Welcome to episode 221 of Talking to Todd, a weekly podcast with Dewayne Johnson and Todd Prinz, where failure is always an option. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready. I'm here. Ready to do, whatever it takes. By the way, just really quick, is this section of the show load bearing? If we just wipe it out, if it just gets taken out, is that going to be a problem?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think we're fine with that. I think we're fine. Hold on, I got to go vacuum the drapes. Is what I need to do. That will.
I was going to say I don't think anything's load bearing, but we have been told that some of this is a load of something. So that's. Look at this. We're back in the studios.
And yes, I guess
it's been a while since we've actually recorded in the studios.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks since we recorded. It's been a month. It's been longer than that since we were both in primary studios.
Yes.
Because I think you produced an episode while I was gone.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Oh. Which end of the microphone do I talk into?
How does this?
Do I have the buttons? Do you have you have the buttons? Okay, that's good.
Yep.
All right, where are we with? I think what do? We do feedback, follow up, and updates, right?
We do typically at this point do that.
Okay.
I really don't have anything notable from toddler number one. Something may come to me.
Okay. Alrighty. From Lisa, as we were listening to the episode that we recorded while you were in the airport and I was in the kitchen area of our flat in the Lake District.
Yes.
I hear this. Boy, you're pretty low energy this episode. Thanks. Also, we were talking about I was talking with it. We're going to be recording, and we're going to be back in the studios, and I said, the last time we recorded, Dewayne was at the airport, and she says, "Oh, is that Studio C?" And no, that's Studio D for DIA.
I may have been in Studio F. That was the concourse that I was in.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right. That one wasn't DIA. You've recorded multiple in airports, haven't you? Yes. The F was in...
I have. That was in Atlanta.
Yeah. But that's Studio A, so yeah.
I was in Studio Go F Yourself was where I was. Because we can get to this later in story time, but they do not hold a plane even though they know you're coming. I have a sneaking suspicion that an angry Delta agent from Minneapolis was on duty in Atlanta and closed the door behind me.
Are you sure it wasn't one from Tampa?
Could it?
Because they know how to close doors in Tampa. What other feedback do we have?
Sherry and Greg were listening to the food episode where I related a at least 30-year-old story.
So one of the new ones.
Yes. Of a very small apartment in Philadelphia. And Sherry still has nightmares. Not that I blame her.
I believe the direct quote, because I believe I was on it, was, "I can still smell the aftermath." Nightmares are when you're asleep. Sounds like she was awake.
She was awake. Yes, she was. Yep. Danny sent me a note. You really need to try Bix again. Wait. Oops. Should have waited for the rest of the story. Never mind. Yep. Doug Wilkinson from The Educated Idiots. So they do, I want to preface this. When we give a list of things,
Yes.
we say A and 2.
Yes.
They do a segment, I think I've talked about this. They do a segment called The Olympics where they rate things as silver, gold, bronze.
I was going to say that's an interesting order, but sure. Okay.
Well, apparently I'm channeling Dan because Dan
Well, I was
can
going
never
to say, and
remember
Dan can't remember which order the medals go in.
Right,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
So number 3, bronze. So he sent me his feedback as such. A, this is apparently, this is all about the last episode at a time. A, if food is benign, then you're eating the wrong kind of food. 2, this podcast is benign. Bronze, why couldn't I have gotten the drug question? This is merely commentary from the opening 3 minutes. We'll see if I live text throughout, which we sometimes do. Live text each other's podcasts while we're listening to them. At one point, I got worst thing I've ever eaten. Title of your sex tape?
Oh. No.
There you go. Yep.
That line is so far back. It's just
Doug crossing lines on our podcast. I mean, I'm reading them, but yes.
I was going to say, I've never understood the definition of enabler until right now. But by the way, just for context, because we try to do this occasionally, the humorous of starting off with a list of A and 2 or 1 and B. I'm assuming, Dewayne, do you want to explain which comedy bit we stole that from?
I think it was Paul Reiser and Mad About You.
It's Paul Reiser. It's Paul Reiser's character in Mad About You. Yes, that was his. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Just so that we didn't steal. It's an homage.
Let's see. This would be under follow up. I've got 2 items for follow up. We'll flippity flop these.
All right.
From Batchelder, the people that followed around Aristotle, peripatetic.
Huh. Okay. I thought he was the backup Jets tight end when Testaverde was there.
Joe peripatetic.
Yeah. He's open in the end zone.
Yeah,
he had a couple of touchdowns, but he had that one fumble. It wasn't great. Yeah.
We both think Toddlers is a better answer.
Yes.
Yep. I also got. Do you see how has nothing to do with anything, but it came from Batchelder. Did you see how Scotty Scheffler got arrested trying to get into play?
Yes, I did see how that happened well and quickly. I believe is the yeah.
So he sent me a tweet that was Scheffler's mugshot and Tiger Woods' mugshot. Don't let anyone tell you golf is a soft sport. If you want to be number 1 in the world, you have to have a criminal mindset. He did not include the mugshot of John Daly, but should have.
The problem with that is, how do you tell the difference between a mugshot of John Daly and any picture of John Daly ever taken on a course?
Yeah.
Is that his mugshot? No, 14th hole.
Cigarette in his mouth is the giveaway because they don't let you.
Because that means he's on the golf course.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. Oh, hey, did we jump over an actually?
We did. I was gonna come back to that. Thank
Okay.
you. Actually,
Actually,
I guess I tried to skip it and you called me out on it. When I was trying to do presidential math live on air and I couldn't remember who was which president.
Yeah. I don't remember it, to be completely honest. I'm really hoping that this is an actually about you and not me, but okay.
Yeah, it's me. Obama was 44, Trump was 45, Biden was 46. Do not do presidential math live.
Yeah, that went poor quick.
It was
what that did.
Yeah, it did. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. The other piece of follow-up that I had, and I don't know, maybe you can help me out with this. We did the episode that was all Vegas, not Vegas.
Yes.
And then the Taylor Center for Technology Policy renewed their sponsorship.
Yes.
And in their masthead, they list Ruby Valley, Nevada and Las Vegas, Nevada. Taylor Center for Technology Policy. Vegas, not Vegas.
Ruby Valley is up north. So, no, it's hours away. So that one, not Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And I believe, last I knew, also not Vegas. I believe the Las Vegas location is not Las Vegas.
It's not. The Coffee Nook is not Las Vegas. Your parking spot, my parking spot, the one we probably share, the whole thing, none of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly because, let's be honest, do you want a parking spot in Las Vegas?
You want to own the parking spot and charge people to park there.
Well, that's true. Yes.
At their own risk.
On the other hand, what you really want to do is you want to own the parking spots in not Las Vegas, because that's where people want to park.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, how about, let's go to, speaking of the Taylor Center for Technology Policy, let's do their segment. How about Todd's Tech Corner?
Yes. I want to start off. I put in here, I have an announcement. I wanted to let the toddlers know that the Jesse of the Taylor Center for Technology Policy recently completed 3 years of doctoral work and was awarded a doctorate of public policy.
Nice.
So from now on, we now need to refer to him as Dr. Jesse. Or Dr. Jesse Raphael. Nope, that's something else.
Does he have the red glasses with the... No? Okay.
Yeah, we gotta workshop that a little bit. So congratulations to Jesse for all of the work. And now we have a doctorate. We have a doctor of public policy sponsoring the technology policies of the technology center. Like, this is getting legit now.
Oh yeah, that's legit. I was just gonna say, that absolutely ups our game. We are yes.
So, by the way, if any of the toddlers have enjoyed any of the technology stuff, and you wanna wish Jesse congratulations, send in the feedback, and we'll make sure that we let Jesse know that that congratulations on a whole lot of work.
That's so great. Just congratulations, Jesse. In all sincerity, all joking aside, that's really super. Good for you.
So just to be clear, in the amount of time that we've been doing this, in less time than we have been doing this, he went out, studied nights, weekends, got a doctorate. And what do we have? 221 episodes of this. So, basically the same.
Sure. Yeah.
I like to consider that we now have a doctorate in podcasting.
When this episode releases, we are going to cross 8,000 total downloads.
Sweet. Or what This American Life considers the first 3 minutes of an episode. But that's fine. I mean,
it's not nothing.
I mean, statistically speaking, it's almost, but it's not nothing.
It's not. Yes. It is. LeBron James has records.
No. What we're doing.
I'm just stating facts. Cardinals are red. None of this has.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the Taylor Center for Technology Policy, led by Dr. Jesse, while I was on the road, there was an iPad event, and iPads were released. new iPad Pros and new iPad Airs, and now the Pros weigh less than the Airs, which got everybody like, oh, what does Air mean anymore? Like, people just get over it. It's a name. I don't. Anyway, I know you were in the market for a new iPad Mini, which sadly was not part of the update. So what did you end up? Have you made any changes, or are you still rocking the 1972 iPad Mini with a CB radio and an 8-track?
I got the converter so that I can plug the wireless that runs on a AAA battery into it. Come on now.
Yeah. Good point. All right. I stand corrected.
Am I breaking news here? Do you know this?
You ran something past me while standing in line. You informed me of an intention.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
But
I couldn't remember because
you sort of like, hey, this is the way I took it. You're like, hey, this is what I'm in line to go do this. And what I heard that was, if this is super stupid, you need to tell me right now, because because I'm within 10 minutes of committing to this. But you need, like, if you need to give me a wave off, Goose, like, now's the time to do it.
So I went. I flew to Denver. More on that later, probably. And flew in on Sunday morning because the flight was so much cheaper, like hundreds of dollars cheaper. And I could fly in on Sunday morning and stay a night in a hotel and still be hundreds of dollars ahead than to fly in on Monday morning. So I flew in on Sunday morning and had time to kill before my 2:30 tea time. And so I went over to the Apple store in Cherry Creek and picked myself up an iPad.
Ooh.
A 10.9-inch iPad 64, just, the entry level, because when they did all of that announcing, they dropped the price on this little bad boy by $100.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, that's kind of interesting. And then Apple has a lot of smart people, but they also were willing to give me $70 for my nearly 8-year-old iPad Mini as an incentive to come in and pay for this, which I did. And I'm like, well, at that point, I almost can't afford not to do this.
There you go. That's the thinking we like around Apple products. It would almost be economically irresponsible for me not to take advantage of this deal.
Right? So instead of paying $350 for the iPad, I paid $330 plus the $79 for 2 years of Apple Care.
Yes.
Which was basically offset by
the iPad.
By the iPad trade-in.
Yeah.
By the Mini trade-in. And when you put onto that the $100 Amex gift card that I had, that I won in a golf tournament, it was like they were just giving me this stuff. And then I'm sitting in bed. So I'm sitting in bed and I'm reading. And Amy looks over, she's like, wow, that thing is friggin' huge. I'm like, it's not any bigger than yours. In fact, she goes over and gets her, I don't know whether it's an Air. It might be an Air. Anyway, she holds it up. Mine is actually smaller than hers, but the screen is bigger. So.
Well, and by the way, you now have the medium-sized one because there are 13-inch ones.
Yes, yes. Well, and as I'm standing there watching the data go from the one to the other, which doesn't take very long because, anyway, I was kind of side-eyeing the Mini that was sitting there going, oh boy, that is cool looking. And it's such a better size for but boy, I do like this. It's not expensive.
And shockingly, the iPad Mini is not the cheapest. It is not, sometimes it used to be not the second cheapest. The Air was cheaper than the Mini.
Yep.
Like, oh, hey, you want the smaller one with all the smaller stuff? Yeah. Yeah. Less stuff costs more.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
We have some very smart people here at Apple. Less stuff costs more. Oh, okay.
And the chip in this one and the chip in that one are not appreciably different. And I'm not going to the M chip regardless. So, I mean, I figure if I can get, well, hell, I got 8 years out of the last one.
8 years and $70.
And that's, I got my money's worth out of it.
All right. What else? Let's see. Speaking of people's getting their money's worth, there people are waiting for the content. What's the Oh no.
It's not fair to deny me all the cross I bear. I checked it to me. You ought to know.
That's right. Time for something that Todd ought to know. This was submitted by Toddler 401k.
See, when he was submitting stuff for me to give you, I thought that was really cool. But now he's on the other side, and now I have some issues. Please don't ask me to do forest math again live on air.
Okay, so how many trees do you... Oh, no, that wasn't it. Something that Todd ought to know. There are 12 teams that have never won a Super Bowl. You have 1 minute to name them starting now.
Let's see. Chargers.
Check.
Houston.
Check.
Vikings.
Check. 45
Tennessee.
seconds. Check.
Buffalo.
Tennessee. Check. Yes. Buffalo. Check.
Yeah. Jaguars.
Yes.
Falcons.
30 seconds. Yes.
The Browns. Oh, I already said Cleveland.
Yeah. Check.
Yeah. Who else do we have?
1, 2, 3, 4 left.
15
15 seconds.
They did. Seattle did. Lions.
Check. 3 to go.
Shoot. I should have been paying attention to what I said. Oh,
These-
9 out of 12 in 1 minute is
That's not bad.
that's not bad.
This is the first time we've ever incorporated a time element, and I like it. Cincinnati Bengals,
Okay.
Carolina Panthers.
That's right. They made one, but they didn't win it.
They didn't win it. And the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. You know, the problem is when I missed Arizona, you're kind of doing the out west thing where teams are spread out, and those are easy to kind of visualize. And then you get over to the East Coast and you're like, God, there's a bunch of teams over there. Like, so for instance, when I said Cleveland the second time, I'm not saying I get credit for this. When I said Cleveland the second time, I was thinking Cincinnati, but they're in the same state. Like, no, it's the Ohio team. Oh no, the other Ohio team.
Oh yes. See,
Yeah.
yeah.
They both suck. Yeah. Thanks, Danny.
Thanks, Danny. Oh yeah. The next one, I then this happened. This is a visual gag on a audio medium. Sarah, by the way, Sarah Judson Brown sent me a whole bunch of pictures of the angriest baby you have ever seen. Have you seen these?
No, I have not.
Baby photo shoot. She's like, ooh, these are hilarious. They would be great for the audio podcast. Like, yes, thanks, Sarah. So when we were at graduation for Lucas and Hannah in Peoria, there were, it was Hannah's graduation in the morning and Lucas's graduation in the afternoon. And so there was this time in between, and there were some food trucks on campus.
Okay.
This food truck was called Grill 'Em All, and they had a whole bunch of stickers on the side of their food truck.
Yeah.
Todd, can you identify why this food truck made our Money or Nazis segment?
Okay, there's a lot going on here. This is going to take me a little bit I have seen less death metal stickers at a death metal concert. Grill 'em all. Commodity. Grill 'em all. Nope. Cheese round. Cannibal Corpse is an interesting way of advertising your food truck.
Toxic delusion is what you get when you eat the chicken.
Founders, Sin Bin, Born Deprived. They've got a lot. They have a lot of things to say. Oh, hey, there's the smiley face with the Hitler mustache. And
Found it.
okay, just to be clear. This entire wall is all black bumper stickers with white lettering that if you think of like Metallica's logo, everything is in that font kind of thing. And there is one yellow smiley face made to look like Hitler. I saw the smiley face, discounted it, and thought, I must go through all of the black with the metal font. I'm sure there must be some hidden message in here.
Surely that's where it is, right?
Meanwhile, the only yellow Todd, you overthought this, buddy. Wow.
Here's the thing. Much like the segment, like 98% of the stickers are just fine. I mean, they're death metal, but there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
But that 2%.
Other than they're trying a little too hard. I will say this. They're trying a little too hard for the we're hardcore. Once you collect too many of those bumper stickers to say you're not the man, you probably become the man because you've got all the bumper stickers.
Hence the money.
Yeah. But to your point, it doesn't take a lot to raise the question. Apparently, it takes one.
I'll post this. I'll post this on the Facebook page, Toddlers.
So I don't know if you should. I don't know if you should. You know what? If you do post it on the Idiot Toddlers wall, they'll be fine.
Oh, you're right. Yes.
It'll actually bring their potential offensive content down. My thought is there is part of me that looks at that and goes, I wonder if it's because it's a smiley face with a Hitler haircut and mustache, if this is like a subversive thing designed to poke fun at Hitler by turning it into a smiley face. So my inclination when I want to know something is to go to my search box and type in smiley face Hitler sticker to find out the history of it. But am I going to do that? No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not going to do that on my computer. I'm not going to do that on my phone. I'm not going to do that with a VPN. I'm not going to do that at a public library.
Hey, can I borrow your phone for a second? Random person who I don't know? Thank you. What are you typing in there? Uh-huh. That went about as well as I expected. Should we do some idiots?
Yeah. So this one falls into a sort of an interesting technology category. There was a report. Somebody in the Apple community, in the Apple journalism community, saw an interesting posting on eBay. For sale was, it says, Steve Jobs 1978 Apple employee card plus handwritten map. And then it says iPhone, iPad, Macintosh, Lisa, whatever. Starting bid is $950. And what they show is a employee card from Apple for Sherry Livingston, who is on this card, a picture of her, and it says employee number 10. And the issue date was March 10th of 1977 and has the the address of the office and her signature, and it has Apple Computer ink, and also has a hand-drawn map of the building that apparently she would have been issued. And the hand-drawn map has things like, this is Waz's office. Here's where Randy is. Here's Bill. Here's Doug. Here's where Chris, Dick, and Cliff all hang out. Here's where the men's and women's restroom is. It's not that big. I don't know why you needed a map, but whatever. Anyway, so this guy looks at this and goes, wow, that's an amazing piece of Apple history. And then he's like, but I don't know. The scuffing on the employee ID looks too uniform. And the map is weathered, but it's weathered in an interesting way. Huh. So I wanted to find out if this is legitimate or not. Here's how we did it. He reached out to Chris Espinosa on social media. Now, who's Chris Espinosa? Chris Espinosa is Apple employee number 8. He was the 8th person hired. By the way, Steve and Waz are 1 and 2. He was hired early.
Uh-huh.
Chris is still employed by Apple.
Damn.
He was hired in 1977 as employee number 8, and he is still there, which makes me think when they did their HR system, somebody had to actually go in and go, hey, you're going to have to fix the employee ID number because we can't have that many leading zeros. No, that's accurate.
No, that's
it's a single digit. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's right.
Yeah.
So he reached out and said, hey, Chris, answer. That's fake. Both of them. Okay, well, that's interesting. And then he said, I asked him for more thoughts. And he replies back via social media. That's not Sherry Livingston. That's not taken with a Polaroid. That wasn't taken with a Polaroid with a flash. The laminate dimensions are all wrong. That's a computer font, not an IBM Selectric or Raider type ball. And that's not my original sketch, which was on a national engineering pad.
Guy's still sharp as a tack.
That's not the notebook I used. That paper is wrong. That's not what an IBM looks like. Holy crap. Anyway, that's a good way to go to the source. Unfortunately, by the time he got this posted, the sale had ended, and I believe somebody had paid $946
Oop.
plus $55 shipping for this. Now, I'm not saying the person that paid $1,000 for the fake thing that they're the idiot. What I'm saying is the person who's like, hey, I faked this. Nobody will notice except for Chris Espinosa. You want to fake stuff? Do better. How about you? What'd you bring?
Well, I made a better Apple purchase than that idiot did.
For less money.
For far less money. I could have bought 3. Never mind. Did you see we had some storms go through here yesterday? 2 days ago.
I heard about that. Yes, I heard
Tuesday.
I heard from one of the people who works for me, quote, today's a basement day. And having grown up in Iowa, that is all the explanation I need.
Knew exactly what he was talking about, didn't you?
Good luck. Let me know if I need to cover any meetings.
So, did you see the video of the trucker who was driving a tanker truck into the tornado?
I did not.
If you Google it, there are 2 semis. One of them pulls over and stops, and the other one just goes barreling right on by and disappears into this cloud. And then if you scroll further on down the page, at least on the page that I went to Google to find this, you can see a picture of the mangled truck.
I'm imagining at some point he's got to go back to the company.
Uh-huh.
And this video comes out. And there's some sort of conversation about this, which is, first of all, We're just glad that you're okay. That's the most important thing. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Now, do have a couple questions for you. In this video, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind when you saw this massive storm headed your way? Did you literally think, I got this? Because while we want confident employees, the line between confident and stupid sometimes is questionable. In this case, there's a significant difference between those.
Is this conversation in any way an exit interview? Yes, it is.
Well, mostly after your truck exited across the freeway into the next county over.
Oh boy. Yep. Let's see. What's next? Oh, travel stories. You were gone for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Overall, good news to report. Very little travel stories. Things, generally speaking, just worked. We avoided train strikes, etc. I would say when we flew back, it was really cool. We got routed more northerly than normal, and it was during the day, and we flew directly over Iceland. And normally if you fly anywhere near Iceland, it's like covered with clouds, just time of year, whatever. There was no clouds, and what an amazing landscape from 38,000 feet. I will say the one thing that I noticed was we landed in Salt Lake City International Airport, which they've just spent $3 billion rebuilding from scratch. It's an incredibly nice airport. We flew with just checked luggage. So once we landed, we went through and we don't have to wait for any of the checked luggage. So we go right past the person saying, you have to get your checked luggage before going through customs and immigration. We're good. We also have global entry to make it much easier to get in. Global entry is kiosks now where you just walk up. You don't have to scan anything. It's just your face and You're like, you're good. We were also hurrying because not only did our plane of 230 people just land, the plane from Amsterdam was landing 5 minutes behind us. So there was now going to be a whole lot of people. So like, just go. Bathrooms later. Let's go. We gotta, because we
can do this.
Yes. Dewayne, do you want to guess? This isn't Dewayne guess a number, but it's Dewayne. Do you want to guess a number? How many global entry kiosks were available, set up, or anywhere in the customs immigration hall in this brand new $3 billion airport that receives multiple international flights per day?
5?
Oh, so wrong. There were 2.
Shit.
What? 2 kiosks. Do you know how many people are coming?
Take your time.
So we got to the kiosks and got the hell out of there.
Smart.
Yes. Also, landed on Wednesday, had to drive back to the undisclosed location, got up on Thursday morning and had to drive to Las Vegas for reasons. Had to stay overnight. By the way, interesting thing, I stayed at a Town Place Suites in not Las Vegas. Had to pay for the privilege of parking at a Town Place Suites, not on the Strip. God, I hate not Vegas. Anyway, on the way back, there had been an accident on the freeway and traffic had been stopped. There was going to be an extra half an hour to my journey, but as I was driving, it was clearing. That's great. I only thought about this after you talked about the tanker truck that was in the video. As I am in the fast lane and there's a truck next to me, we are coming up and we're at highway speeds, 75 miles an hour, let's say. And you can see that traffic is stopped. So I slow down. The truck next to me does not slow down at all.
Oh.
And is heading at freeway speed towards stopped traffic.
Oh.
I am now slowing even more down to give me more space because this is not going. And I keep thinking, oh my God, he's not going to make it. At the very last minute, He was doing freeway speeds. The truck throws himself, the semi-truck throws himself into my lane and catches the stop. There was a stopped truck with a flatbed piece behind it. He clipped the flatbed, and pieces of the flatbed and his truck go flying everywhere. And his truck, I believe, goes almost on two wheels as he's trying to avoid this collision, and then sets down and then comes to a halt. At which point I come rolling up behind. Whoa, I don't. Whew.
Woof.
And I was waiting for somebody with a gun to get out of a vehicle and go settle something. Everything calmed down, although he just sat there for a while and then eventually made his way over to the thing. And I was like, I'm out of here.
Well, he was waiting for his heart to start again.
Apple released the Apple Vision Pro where you get to see things and, like in front of you. I will tell you this, seeing that directly in front of you, about 2 to 3 semi-truck lengths in front of you, I don't need VR. I don't need anything. I don't want to see that ever. No, I do not want to live there. Anyway, so that was fun. I love driving to and from not Las Vegas. How about you? Any good travel stories?
So I went to, where did I go that week? Irvine. Flew from Irvine to Atlanta. That's California. Irvine, California to Atlanta to fly back to Des Moines because Delta doesn't fly through Salt Lake City to go west out of Des Moines anymore.
We have no room because we have all those global entry kiosks taking up all this. Oh, we don't. Never mind.
Yeah. So anyway, I flew Des Moines to Atlanta to Irvine, and then Irvine to Atlanta. And as I'm in the air, now here's the thing. We've given Delta a great deal of crap about how little Wi-Fi there is on their plane.
Yes.
This was a cross-country flight on a Delta mothership. Delta, not connection, not Delta connection, not...
You're on mainline Delta metal.
Yes, I was. And so therefore, I had free Wi-Fi, and I was connected with my phone, with my old iPad mini that I still had at the time, with, whatever. And I'm in the air from Irvine to Atlanta, and my phone starts blowing up because they have canceled my flight home from Atlanta to Des Moines. Okay. Fine. And here's the thing. I was flying home on Thursday so that I could then repack overnight, get in the car on Friday, and drive to Peoria for Lucas's graduation.
Yes.
Well, okay. I've got an extra day. Graduation is until Saturday. We can figure this out. So, and I've got Wi-Fi. I'm on my phone. I've got the Delta app. And so I'm like, okay, well, I can change my flight for free, blah, 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 to, okay, well, let's just go on Saturday. All 3 flights from Atlanta to Des Moines on Friday were sold out. Okay, fine. We can deal with this. I can change because the flight was canceled. They gave me a list of any other airport that I wanted to transfer into for free, no problem. The list of airports, besides Des Moines: Cedar Rapids,
Okay,
Fort Dodge. Odd choice, but
what?
Okay.
I didn't know Delta could land there.
I didn't either, but anyway, it was an option. I think you have to go through Des Moines to get to Fort Dodge. Pretty sure. Whatever. Omaha, Kansas City, Lincoln, Minneapolis. Huh. I'm like, well, what about Moline? What about the Quad Cities? It's actually closer from Moline to Des Moines than 3 of the cities that I just named. Not on the list. So I get on with the Delta chat, and I'm chatting with the Delta chat agent, blah, blah, blah. And I lay this out, and they're like, Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm just a Delta Chat agent. I can't fix that. I could put you into any of those other cities if you wanted to, but I can't put you into Moline. I'm like, you know what? At this point, I can just book a one-way flight from Atlanta to Moline for $484 before it gets sold out with people trying to get out of Atlanta. Boom, book it, done. Flight that's in the air is supposed to land at 8:30. The flight to Moline is supposed to land at 9, is supposed to take off at 9:30. I've got an extra hour. We're in good shape. I'll just go stay at a hotel and Amy can pick me up in Moline.
That makes perfect sense.
Right? Exactly. Until I land, and the flight to Moline is now delayed to not leave until 11, and then delayed until not leaving until 12. And I'm like, okay, well, so I go grab a hamburger, and then I go back and I sit down at the gate. And about 15 minutes later, it's delayed so that it's not leaving until 2 a.m., at which point I know that that flight is not going to happen. So at that point, and every other flight, this huge storm is going through. It's just screwing everything up in Atlanta. It is not Delta's fault, whatever, but they canceled my flight.
It is not Delta's fault, but it is Delta's problem.
Yes. And there was a lot of Delta problem going on. And there were a lot of people going to be stranded in the airport. So the next thing I did was flip open my Marriott app and I booked the closest hotel room that I could that still had rooms available. Boom, book it. 4 Points by Sheraton. Have you stayed at a 4 Points by Sheraton?
Yes, a couple of times, I believe.
Think Fairfield?
The one I stayed at, you're like 4 points on how big of a scale?
Yes.
Just so we're clear.
Aha. My room was clean. It was fine. And about 10 minutes after that, they postponed my flight from leaving at 2 a.m. To not leaving until 7:15 a.m. I made the right call. So at that point, I'm like, okay, screw this. Walk out, hop in an Uber. I didn't call Delta. I didn't go stand in the line that was 300 people deep to try to get a voucher. I'm like, you know what? Heck with this. Go to the 4 Points, check in, stood in line for maybe 10 minutes to check in. And I'm smiling the whole time. And I was, I'm like, she's like, wow, you seem really happy. I'm like, you know what? I got a hotel room tonight and there are a ton of people that don't right now. She's like, yeah, that's a really good attitude to have. She gave me, and I had checked my bag.
Yes.
Because I had to, because I had 2 backpacks. So I had to check my bag. So now Delta has my bag somewhere in the Atlanta airport.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
If things are going well.
Right? So I have 2 backpacks, but no clothes. So she gives me a toothbrush and toothpaste and a razor and some shaving cream. And they had run out of deodorant, but, fine, whatever. I go up, I fall asleep. I had no weight. I go upstairs and I unzip my backpack. And in my backpack, I had about 1 drink left of a bottle of bourbon.
Okay.
That I had put in my backpack that TSA in Ontario, because I didn't actually fly out of Irvine, I flew out of Ontario, California.
Yes.
The TSA in Ontario had overlooked and had not flagged and did not take out of my backpack when I checked it through. So I got to the room and I'm like, oh, bonus, look at that. So I went and got some ice and I had a drink and then I went to bed. Got up, got myself back through airport security, flew in and landed in Moline an hour and a half before Amy left Norwalk. So I went over to the local Starbucks and I hung out. And Amy picked me up on the way by. We did graduation. It was fantastic. We're driving back on Sunday night and we are about 15 minutes from home, which means we're about 10 minutes from the Des Moines airport, and my phone rings and it's baggage at the Des Moines airport. Hey, we have your bag. Would you like to come and get it? By golly, I think I would. I'll be there in about 10 minutes. So, yeah. I got home. I had a bed. I was safe. I was warm. I was dry. Was it the best travel experience? No, but I did get a story out of it.
By the way, for everybody listening,
Yeah.
Dewayne did the right thing here. Yes. 2 points. 4 points, Todd. No, it was 2 points.
Two.
So anyway,
Were you not listening?
Todd,
It
are
was
you not
4
even
points.
listening to me? Come on, man. At least pretend. Number one, had you stood in line for a voucher because it was due to weather, that would not have been a free hotel night. At best, it would have been like a $10 off some sort of rate or a special rate, but it wouldn't have saved you a ton of money.
And while I was waiting, the hotel rooms would have gotten gone.
Yes. If you're ever in that situation and you fly into especially a hub and everything gets canceled, do not rely on the airline to take care of you. Immediately take care of yourself and get yourself a hotel room and pay whatever it is that they're asking for, because you're going to pay that anyway, or you're going to sleep in the airport. Number two, if you can, just throwing this one out, if you can get not in the long line of people, but if you can find somebody and ask for, hey, from the airline, do you have a stranded traveler's kit? They have kits that have all of the toothpaste and everything in that you're like, hey, I don't need a thing. I just need a stranded. They will just hand you, and it will have the toothbrush and the comb and the deodorant. It doesn't take care of the clothes, but at least it gives you something if you're not traveling with it. It's not worth standing in line for, because the hotel will probably provide most of it. But if you can just say, can I just grab one of those and I'm good? That would be the other thing.
That's a fantastic thought. Yep. That's a great note.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was able, particularly if you can't get a hotel, then you can at least brush your teeth.
Yes.
Are you watching something good?
Well, this is still from the trip, just catching up. So in the first part, we talked about the musicals that we saw in the first half of the trip. Then we went up north to the Lake District. On the way back, we stopped in Manchester for the night, and we saw a brand new show. This was the world premiere of the staging of the show. They're hoping to build enough so that they can get to being off the West End so they could then go to the West End. And this is the first time I've ever seen one of these shows. Like, this is the world premiere. Nobody has ever seen this, and they're trying to build an audience. It's called 42 Balloons. It is the story of, in 1982, you may remember, a man named Larry Walters tied 42 balloons to a lawn chair and ended up going 14,000 feet in the air. This musical is his story.
Is it uplifting?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What? I walked out of there deflated? No, just kidding.
All expectations just burst.
Okay, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop at 3. 3 is more than enough. Anyway, it was a good show. It was an interesting show. It was very entertaining. For it to go further, there are certainly tweaks that are going to have to happen. It was a beautiful theater. We were in the small of the 2 theaters that Manchester has. It was a lovely time. It does the thing that good, I won't just say good theater, that good stories do, which is, oh yeah, that's that crazy guy that did this thing. And it tells the story of, no, like, he had a plan. This was like, it was all thought out. There was math. But what it does in the second act, and this is the part that they bring you in to kind of see this, but in the second act, they show him on Letterman with a guy playing Letterman and making fun of him. And then the media making fun of him and portraying him as this doofus that did this. And it tells his side of the story. And the story doesn't end well. I will just say that. But it sets you up so that you can be part of the, haha, this is nuts. And then you realize, oh, I will tell you this. I walked out of there, not to be a downer. I walked out of there and went, this is the kind of story that would make our idiots of the week. And then you learn the actual story and you feel terrible for calling them idiots of the week. Scott Frost? No, I don't. No, that's not fine.
Don't
College
feel bad
football?
about that.
No, not
Nope.
that's fine. The guy that faked a thing to rip somebody off of 950. No, not that. But some people feel bad. Anyway, 42 balloons. I would say catch it, but it's closing in Manchester. By the way, it's from the producers of 6.
Oh, it's really cool that
It's
you
what?
got to see this thing start to get off the ground.
Oh my God, I said 3. I said that was enough.
I had to make 4 points.
And then the other one that we did for the last night that we were there was my birthday, and so to celebrate, we went to the Book of Mormon for the 13th or 14th time.
Hello.
We keep thinking this has got to be the last time that we're going to see this. It really does, doesn't it? I mean, this is enough. And
Nope.
then we walk out of there going, so when we come back in October, we're seeing this again, right? Oh yeah, definitely. We're definitely going to see this. So how about you? What are you watching?
We watched all of Clarkson's Farm 3.
We watched the first 2 episodes last night.
I continue to be irritated by the local council,
I believe as does Jeremy.
as does Jeremy. Isn't that the truth? Yep. Let's see. Seems like there was something else too. Oh, all of Rizzoli and Isles dropped on HBO.
Okay.
Started in 2010.
On one of the cable channels, right?
Yeah. I don't remember what cable channel it was on. Might have been USA. Might have been something else. I don't remember. Donnie Wahlberg was in episodes 2 and 3 as a police detective. And as far as I can figure out, left this show to go start doing Blue Bloods, which he has been doing ever since.
Good call. By the way, the answer to the question is TNT.
Oh,
TNT.
real-time follow-up right there. Thank you.
Yeah. Why don't we consider it real-time follow-up instead of real-time correction? Follow-up sounds better. Yes.
Follow-up does sound better. Yes, you're right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Did you learn anything good this week?
Yeah. So this is the first time we went on. So we were on a 2-week trip. This is the first time that we've been on a 2-week trip since we bought a hot tub.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is all new about like, what do you do with a hot tub? And by the way, if you go on the internet, like, do you keep it at the same temperature or do you drop it? Half the posts say you keep it at the same temperature because it will use more energy if you let it drop, it takes more energy to get it back up or whatever. Hey, you can do this. And I did everything I could, left it, said, I put in a bunch of chlorine beforehand and figured like this thing is chlorinated. Nobody's going to be in it for 2 weeks. It's closed. I dropped the temperature a bit and I figured this ought to be good. Get back, get home, open up the hot tub and go, that is a different shade of green than I remember our hot tub being. Oh dear. So what did I learn was what I did was not the right answer. Now, did I learn the correct answer? I don't know what it is. But I can tell you that the specific steps I took were not the correct things to do with a hot tub. It did take me 4 days to get the thing back clear and safe to use with a non-insignificant amount of chemicals. It is fine now, but I have until October to figure out how not take another run at it is what I've got another one. Yes.
You should ask Larry because Larry has had a hot tub since my senior year of high school. And they now go away for 6 months and come back.
Okay.
He may drain his.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, which is that's one of them. Hey, so half of them say you should drain it. The other half say if you drain it, then all of the seals that are normally in the water will dry out and will crack. And then you're going to have to replace the seals, especially if you're in a hot, dry area and the hot tub is outside. Tick, tick, tick. So I suspect odds of me getting this right on the second try, not great. I'm just going to be honest. There might be more content in the second half of October. What about you? What did you learn?
So the reason I went to Irvine to begin with was we moved all of our marketing collateral and trade show assets to our Denver office.
Oh, yes. Yes. The project that you texted me about. Yes.
Yeah. I was tasked with figuring out the best way to do this. I looked into getting pods
Mm-hmm.
and just filling a pod and then letting the pod go. We also talked about renting a 28-foot Enterprise or other kind of U-Haul trailer kind of.
To be clear, you talked about that, and I told you I could not endorse that idea for you any less than
Yes.
than was. I have multiple experiences with that, and that is a terrible, terrible idea. So that one got crossed off pretty quick.
But you said if you're going to do it, make sure you take noise canceling headphones.
Again, look, if you're going to do it, and I can't stress, don't. But if you do, and again, don't. But if you do, noise cancellation headphones are a must. But seriously, don't.
So I found a company called U-Pack, which is a competitor of Pods, and they have both large and small pods. Basically, they don't call them pods, but that you can, have them drop in your parking lot, and then you load them up, and then off they go. And I said, so, if I get 4 of these and I only use 3, he's like, do you know how much space you really need? I'm like, well, I'm not exactly sure how much stuff we've got. He said, have you looked at our trailers? I'm like, what's this? So they brought, have you seen ABF Freight hauling like 2 small 28-foot trailers back to back when they drive them around the country?
Yes.
Okay. So they dropped one of those in our parking lot, and then we could just fill it up from the back. And then when we got done filling, we put in a wall, and then they used the remainder of the truck to haul whatever else they wanted that they could get for partial loads that was going to Denver.
Okay.
And I could use as much or as little of the truck as I needed. And it was half the price what it was going to cost me to use a pod.
Okay.
And I had 3 days to load it. It took us a day and a half. I had another 3 days to unload it. It took us 1 day to unload the truck.
Well, if you open up the tailgate and you get the truck going in the right direction and slam on the brake, you can get that done. You can get that done in about 5 to 10 minutes at the tops, and that's including finding the pieces.
Even you can do it even quicker if you know what you're doing. Just, you know what? Just jack up the front of it and just let everything just roll on out onto the concrete.
Gravity's doing work. It's just science.
But we loaded the trailer by hand up a ramp.
And it's a semi-truck ramp, so it's a big ramp, not a small.
Yes.
It's not a U-Haul ramp. It's a real ramp
on dollies. And then, but when we were getting to Denver, we were going to have a dock, so we could just roll it straight out and into the building.
Better.
That's going to be so much better. We got to the building. There's no dock. So we unloaded it by hand down the ramp, through the building, up the elevator, and then back through the building to the opposite end, because that's where the office is. But we had fantastic help from the Denver staff. We had great help. We had some great help from, if any of my team is listening, we had some great help from the Irvine staff. You know who you are. And we had some really good help from the Denver staff, and boy, they pitched in, and we paid them in Swell mugs and jelly beans, and they were ecstatic. And yesterday I went to the chiropractor. If I were doing this again, I would schedule the chiropractor before and after every one of these trips. That's what I learned. The music is Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. You can subscribe to our award-winning podcast with visiting scholar Todd Prinz. Wherever you get your pods, just search Talkin' and the number 2. There's no G and no space. You can stop by and see us at the Tuba City home office. Please don't do that. You can check out our Naperville drains. We haven't plugged those in a while. I said that a couple of weeks ago, and Amy just groaned on the other side of the truck.
Well, thank God you cleared that up.
Thanks to our listeners, our sponsors, and our contributors. Send your feedback to feedback@talkingtotodd.com. Todd?
Quick, just 2 points here. A, I was expecting you to say that your flight to Moline was delayed, and eventually they had made the announcement. Sorry, everybody, your flight to Moline's been canceled. We needed to use the plane for a flight to Des Moines. Damn it.
Damn it.
and B, and 2, instead of a chiropractor, you don't need a chiropractor. Dewayne, what you need is a clipboard. Okay, that one's up the ramp. Yes. That one's up the ramp. Yes. That one's up the ramp. Yes. That one's down the ramp. Yes. Much cheaper than the chiropractor.
And way easier on your back. That's some fantastic advice. If you come back next week and listen, you will get more good advice just like that right here. We're here. We're talking to Todd. It was 2 points, Danny. 2 points.
By the way, as a backup to the clipboard, I would also suggest a high-vis vest that on the back is printed safety coordinator. Then you're golden.